my name is Molly Dettmann, and I am a teacher librarian here at Norman North High School. I'm in a lovely little study room right now, and our Wi-Fi went out. So the fun excitingness of virtual learning and virtual tech stuff. So I'm here today to talk to you all about how I at my library reached our readers during when school was shut down during the pandemic, and then also how we adapted when kids came back slowly but surely, and then when they all came back, and COVID protocols and all of that fun stuff. So I apologize, I don't have my presentation to share, but I'm going to just give you all the fun stuff, and then the presentation is on the MPLA website to click through. But so there were 3 specific ways that we at my high school reached readers during those virtual times when we were all just at home. The first one was social media. So the Norman North Library, it's just at Norman North Library, and we are very active on our Facebook and Instagram. It's kind of nice having both of those platforms because Facebook, it's really a nice way to reach parents and teachers. I swear I have like some teachers who I'll share something from the Norman North Library Facebook page, and then they're like, that's cool, I want to do it. And I'm like, dang it, y'all, I've talked to you about it, but seeing it just definitely adds a little bit more. So we definitely love to showcase all the cool stuff we're doing at our library. But then during the pandemic, especially, I didn't have, cool pictures of like the audio equipment in our study room or any of that fun stuff to showcase. It was all virtual. So the way we did that was I did a lot of reading challenges. So I just used templates from Canva. So they're really easy to use, and they were just really goofy. It would be like, a little Canva template where it'd be like, share a GIF that represents like the last book you read, or what kind of snack you like to eat when you read. So just all reading themed. Instagram is where all the kids are, so they participated in those a lot. Sometimes I would just post like a random question like, would you rather dog ear every single page or never get to use a bookmark? And so like just goofy stuff like that, where it just got the kids involved, just at least talking to us and just thinking about those goofy reading things. My co-librarian and I also are big dog lovers. We're both dog moms. My previous co-librarian and my new co-librarian. So during the pandemic, we did the most popular posts that we did were ones where we had our dogs reading, or we had there's one where my dog is on a stack of like it was like a spine poetry for Poetry Month. There's a really funny one in the slideshow where my dog is looking at a book called How to Do Nothing. The caption, was like, Coco Dettmann is working hard during remote learning. So those always got a lot of fun feedback. We actually had the United Way in my hometown actually ended up like taking that and sharing it on their podcast about how like library dogs are doing cool things. And then we also, Instagram specifically has like a little Instagram TV function where you can post longer videos and kind of group them together in seasons. So we also started a thing where it was called The Best Beginnings, where we would read like a little excerpt of the beginning of a book that was available to download for students, so that then they got a little taste of it. And then we did notice that usually that book got checked out by like the next day, or sometimes we tried to pick books where we had little extra copies of things. So social media we were really involved with, and we're able to keep in contact with our teachers and students and to share the love of reading, and just like, hey, these times are tough, but the library is still here for you. The second biggest thing we did virtually was we did digital book talks, and we used the platform Flipgrid. So Flipgrid is amazing and wonderful. I super just love it to death. It used to be paid, and then it became completely free. You just have to have like a Google or Microsoft account. It's primarily used by schools, but really if you have those accounts, you can sign up for it yourself. Flipgrid, what's nice is basically, we just have there's a link to it in the slideshow, but we just filmed a bunch of book talks. So it's just me, talking about books. The editing capability within Flipgrid was so lovely because I could actually superimpose a little picture of the book right next to me, so that I'm just talking, and then the book cover is very clearly seen the entire time, especially when the book talks were about digital books that I didn't have a copy in front of me to share in my video. So the editing options were really nice. It was just simple and easy to use. And then, I mean, you didn't have to have a Flipgrid to see any of these. You can share it. Like I do stuff with Flipgrid where like it's just for students and just seen by my students when we're doing project sharing and stuff like that. But for this one, you can make it public so that anybody can see those videos. Now, people can record responses, but you can moderate that. So we had that function turned off so that people weren't also just posting their own weird comment and videos on our Flipgrid. But I really just liked how easy it was to use. The app was really nice too, and it looks really nice functionally on a mobile device where everything's all in one place. You're not clicking back and forth on like YouTube videos or anything. And then, we're just talking about cool books. And then we also really pushed our ebooks and audiobooks when that was literally the only way we could get books to our students. So for those of you who are public librarians, you are probably very familiar with Overdrive and the public library upgrade that they kind of did maybe a year or two-ish ago called Libby. Well, then, fun fact, like about a year and a half ago, they added Sora, which is basically Libby, but for schools. So we have Sora, that's our Overdrive platform we use. Works same way as Libby. It's really easy and fast to use. They did upgrade it to where you can add a public library connection. So we worked really closely with our public library system. All of the kids in my district have public library cards, but it's hard to remember that big long number. So with the connection on Sora, when they add Pioneer Library System, they actually just have to log in with their school information, which is just their ID number, and everyone has the same password. So then they had more access to ebooks and audiobooks that way. And it's actually kind of nice with Sora because it does filter it where like the elementary schools will get all like the elementary school level books. High school, we get to have a little bit more, but no one's checking out 50 Shades of Grey on our Sora account. And what's also fun about Sora is you can curate specific collections. So you probably have seen that if you're an ebook user on Libby, you can have little collections. And so those are the ways we get students to really interact with our collection, check out, and find things that they would be interested in reading. We have curated collections where it'll be like, to all the books I loved before, and it's romance books, or like right now we have one that's Will You Survive, and it's all survivalist books. So we try to come up with cute titles and then just put all the books together. We have it randomized, so when you first log in, it's just a kind of, it usually shows you about four more books. And so then if they refresh, it'll give them some more. So, I mean, they can browse through it, or every time they open it up, there'll be fresh new books for them to look at. And then of course, I mean, I missed having my physical books, but I did really love having the ebooks because of the accessibility of them. You can do dyslexic font, you can change the backlighting, all of that fun stuff. And then everybody came back. So what was fun about everybody coming back was that we had physical books available to students. However, we had to limit it because of quarantining. We had to quarantine our books. We had to close off browsing. Some ways that we were able to work around that is we would do slideshows of books. So we would take pictures of the cover and then the inside flap. So if they're in class, they could browse the slideshow and find some physical books they might like, place them on hold, and then we would deliver them in class. But the back and forth schedule was kind of hectic at the beginning. We did a curbside library service so that we could get books to students if they were quarantined or if they were virtual, no matter when we came back or not. We offered that all year long. We also would just deliver books in class to just limit the amount of kids that were in here while we were kind of, figuring things out. We also had to like move the furniture around. So we have allowed students in here all year. However, we had the furniture all spaced out so that they're not like clumped together in groups of like a lot. So that was how we still, we had also tables where we would put the books on the tables, and then we would make a copy of the inside flap to where it was contactless display. They didn't have to pick up the book and look at it. They could kind of look and read the inside flap from the printout next to it. And then if they really wanted, they could check it out with one of the librarians. So we have like let up on that a teeny bit more as there, more research has come out about contact or, getting infected by just touching things. We still have hand sanitizer everywhere, but we just have had to kind of evolve and adapt with that and just share the books in some way so that we could get some physical checkouts, because ebooks and audiobooks are not for everybody. And then when we're kind of looking at next year and what we're going to do, we probably won't do the slideshows of books anymore, because I'm like hoping on everything we can officially just have the shelves open again to where students can just browse at their leisure. These slideshows were nice to have, and definitely kids checked out books from them, both virtual kids and in-person kids who just couldn't come to the library right away. However, that is time intensive to take all those pictures and then find the synopsis and put all that together. So we probably will not be doing that anymore. And then also with the shelves being open, we probably won't have as many tabletop displays, because the tables will be in the library for students to use. We basically just had to repurpose those tables for displays for this year. Now, we are going to still do curbside library. I think that's been really helpful. I mean, we still will have some students who might be out for various reasons. So I don't see any reason why we wouldn't keep that. It was very low key. We had a Google Voice number. They would call that number. We had it on our devices and then like on our self-checkout iPad, to where someone here in the library would get the notification and then just run the book out. So not a big deal at all. Anything to have more accessible services, I think we're happy to go out and do that. We definitely will still continue to share all of our fun stuff on social media. Of course, it's been more fun since we've been back in person to share things, but even just over the summer when we're not going to be here, those digital the templates we've used where we're just like try why, or the reading challenges, I think those we're still going to continue and schedule out over the summer so that we're still engaging with our students that way in promoting a love of reading. And then the digital book talks. So what I love about Flipgrid was that it embeds really nicely in our learning management system, which we use Canvas. However, it also links to Google Classroom and a lot of other different platforms. So we have a lot of teachers I think will still be the norm, is where like all of our work is still within this learning management system. Now, granted, book talking, like normally the class would come in and we would just physically talk to them about the books, but there are still going to be kids who are out for various reasons. So the digital book talks will be really handy to have and pop into classrooms. So those students will still get that experience and can still listen to their librarians talk about whatever books sounded interesting to them. Because we did that a lot for classes where they just did choice reading, and then sometimes there would be specific books. We would book talk because then like they got to pick one and then that was what they read the next 9 weeks kind of thing. So definitely the digital book talks.
Molly, I'm jumping in with your 2-minute warning.
Okay. So digital book talks will still be a thing. It still, takes time to sit down and film it. And it's definitely harder to do that because you mess up and you want to keep editing and fixing it. So we'll still have to make time to do that, but that'll still be a thing that we do. And then, yeah. And hopefully what else is going is closing shelves. Hopefully we can have more kids in here and just be a little bit more open than we have been. And looking at questions, so that was kind of like my little lightning spiel. So the plan for quarantining materials in the future, we are just waiting for a word from our district. What's wild is that, everybody's done something different. We do 6 days because that was like the official thing from the Realm study, where you stacked books that it could live in and on them for 6 days, depending on the book. So that's what we've been doing, but hopefully we don't have to do that anymore. But I'm going to wait till my boss tells me that we don't have to do that anymore. And I am from Oklahoma, Norman, Oklahoma. I forgot about that part. A part of the Oklahoma Library Association. And we were virtual to start off with. Then we were hybrid until about fall break, which was October. And then we have had all of our students back at my school since after fall break. So mid-October, we have usually between 2,400 students, 2,400 students. With kids being able to be virtual, we've had about 1,800, but honestly, more kids have been coming back in person since even after spring break. So we're probably up about 2,000 by now. Yeah, ooh, that lightning, those 15 minutes go by so fast.
Nice
Um,
job. It's 10:35. Perfect.
Thank you so much for having me. Y'all have a great rest of your fun.
Thank you very much, Molly, for sharing. I'm sorry the slides didn't work, but you all hopefully found the link to Molly's slides, and I would encourage you to take a look at those. They're really fun. And of course, these will all be posted to the MPLA website as well. All right, we are on another 5-minute break, and then we are going to hear from Laura and Kim.